Thank you. Super excited to be here. Nice to meet you. I'm Esther, one of the founders at Bolt, and I'm here today with
Marcello Formisano. I'm the head of insights of Tata Consumer Products. We are the odd one out in Tata. Tata is a big galaxy. We do the consumer food and beverages side. So today, what we're going to talk about, and you saw it in the previous and was introduced like that, it's about how is AI and generative AI, right, shaping the way that consumers shop. And it's about really, for us, food and beverages as an arena, right? So services and type of service of businesses that are beyond the durables and the like probably have more involvement into this type of arena and framework. But when it comes to food and beverages, the question that we had, right, is it relevant? Is it relevant for us? There are a few things. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ask yourself if you put in heads up. But if I had done it, probably most of us would have used generative AI in a way or another, and I used it to help shopping, right? Shopping for consumer goods, so things that are rotating fast. And it's a very fascinating topic. According to Capgemini, right, there is 70% of people that are actually done it in US, done it in Europe, done it across the globe. The other interesting element is that, it's news of 2 or 3 weeks ago, right? Google itself networked with other companies, the like of Walmart, the like of Flipkart, and the like, to create a universal protocol on commerce, which allows essentially Google and these companies to go end-to-end from the discovery stage into the shopping bit, and it's something that is native into the architecture there. So we had the questions, right? What does it mean for us? And we've done this type of research with Bolt Insight. We wanted to do it deep, we wanted to do it fast, and we want to have also a bit of insights layer out of it, right? Not do it yourself. And we partner naturally with them.
Thank you. So let me tell you a bit more about us, about Bolt. Before founding Bolt, I worked several years client-side in CMI roles in big CPG corporation. And I can show you there were many pain points, but probably the main pain points I had was, why can't I have it all? I will meet with fantastic technology providers, becoming really excited, and then they will have limited understanding of insights and how to drive actionable recommendation in the organization. And then on the other side, then I will prefer to work with traditional foundational agencies. They will be true partner end-to-end, but usually they will come with higher price points, longer timeline. So really, that was the pain point. We founded Bolt because we did indeed wanted to have it all. We are a full-service agency. We are active across the quantitative and qualitative spectrum, so we can help both with strategic segmentation, UNA, tracking projects, and then dive into the why behind the what with our AI-powered qualitative scale platform, Bolt AI. And really coming to Bolt AI, which is the project that we led with Marcello today, the reason here was that we wanted research also to be more conversational. But being, again, not just informed by the technology we use, but also by the expertise of our team. Every single person in our team comes from a research background, and so we really have created and baked that expertise also in the platform that we use. So in terms of the process, Bolt AI is an AI-moderated quality scale tool. You can use it DIY if you prefer to do so. But also we have a team of expert consultants, so we can help you to set up a project, but also produce sophisticated reporting and presentation on the other side. So you can work with us really end-to-end. And it all starts with a prompt. Of course, we need to brief the AI on what it needs to research, quality in, quality out. And that's when we have to define very carefully, and you can also have the help of our team, the research objective, the target audience, and you can go really narrow also on that target sample definition. Because we work worldwide with more than 30 panel programmatic partners, so we can recruit across B2B and B2C a very low level of incidence. After we enter the inputs, then the AI will create a discussion guide that is tailored and customized to your objectives, and you can fine-tune it. And you will have closed and open-ended questions, projectives, behavioral questions, smart probing and prompting, stimulus in videos and pictures, and then you will also do the translation for you that you will be able to review and then approve. And more importantly, you can decide also the modality of engagement. We do video interview, voice interviews. People can also text, upload pictures, and as you will see today, they can also navigate website, and we can observe them while they do so to really narrow that say-do gap that we often encounter. After you're happy with the discussion guide, the AI will start recruiting respondents, invite them to one-to-one in-depth interviews that are moderated by AI. And we do this close to them, that is the AI interviewing them. First of all, it's more ethical to do so, but also we find that, especially for sensitive topics, but in general, they're much happier to reveal authentically and vulnerably how they feel, maybe because they don't feel judged on the other side. And those conversations then are run very much like a human in-depth interview, with probing, prompting, reformulating the question in context to dive deeper into each response. And we can also connect the platform to your CRM database, so if you have already your pool of respondents, that's also possible. And then finally, the AI will generate a report with all of your executive summary, key insights, all of the verbatim from the conversations, video, voice notes, pictures, videos from the screen records, charts for closed and open ends, and then your personas. We'll talk more about the personas later. And then you'll have emotional analysis as well to complement all of the information. This report is interactive. What I love about AI in research is that the journey doesn't stop there, but you can really then dive deeper into the topics. So let me just jump a couple of slides. Some of the features, there are so many, come to our booth, we can explain better, but yeah, persona is one of them, so we can really humanize and bring to life some of the consumer cohorts. We can also create personas that are aligned to your segmentation. Because we have quantitative capability, we can enrich them with all sorts of data and keep them alive over time so that you're not looking in the rearview mirror, but you're looking at the future. And what makes our AI moderator different? I think this is important because there are so many solutions coming across in this day and age. This is not just another ChatGPT wrapper, but really, as Tamano was saying before, the data behind it is so important. We have run thousands of human-to-human conversations, and we use those to train the model so that it knows what's a good answer, how to probe deeper, and uses dual agent moderation for that. So an AI moderator will ask the questions, and an AI referee will check the quality of the answer so that he knows when to probe. Plus, he understands in context what's being shared, and there are always human researchers in the loop that can help training the model and make it become smarter over time. So as I said before, AI moderation can help and augment researchers, especially when it comes to sensitive topics, to remove social bias, but also to analyze all voices, also the underrepresented one. When you start having thousands of hours of transcripts, it really helps to get that objectivity. And then I'll pass to Marcello now, but very proud to have worked with such amazing clients. And just a pride slide, but we were awarded the Market Research Society Best Online Qual methodology last year. And I'm saying that because we are really invested into the ethical and responsible development of AI. So over to you, Marcello.
Thank you, Esther. So what did we do? Right? How did we leverage Bolt AI to get the answers we were looking for? We went out to 3 countries, and we interviewed what I used to call mass qual. I don't know what it's called nowadays, right? Where AI is everywhere, but it's essentially 100 people across these three countries, and we asked open-ended questions like what we used to do, right? The good thing is that you can do it, you heard it, one-to-one, and you can be flexible in the way that the moderation is happening. They were all shoppers, grocery shoppers, like most of us, but they were aware of these new tools, right? GenAI, you might be surprised by the awareness levels and how it changes by demographics. So it's a subset. It's not a universe, right? It's not everyone in America or everyone in Germany, but it's an interesting one to start with. And what I want to do is really start with the learnings, the nuggets, 5 nuggets that we brought back. I shared with my leadership team, and just to keep it very simple, the things that we observed consistently, right? And it's not sizing, it's a qual, as we said, so it's good to go deep. But those are the 5 things. First and foremost, this is something that is happening, right? It's beyond the claims. We see people doing it, and people are happy with it. And when I say with it, I mean the usage, the embedding of the generative AI into the shopping purchase journey. First thing. The second thing is also that you look across countries. there's a continuum in terms of adoption and trust, and we'll see that. The third point, which is an interesting one, is why this is happening. Right? There's a shift in the way that we are coming to fruition on information. That is moving us from information seeking to intent finalization, right? And this is what someone else in the speakers previously said, from CEO to GO, right? It's moving down the funnel from discovery into action. So this is an important why for us. We have the assumptions on does it work, does it not work, and we find some answers. We'll come to that, not all of them. So it's an open topic for us. We're investigating it. The risk, the most obvious ones that probably everyone in the room would empathize with, is privacy and AI slope, right? Just please stop the noise and give me information that is relevant for me without stealing from myself the identity I am, right? My privacy, my identity, and my data, essentially. So that is where people become sensitive on that. And there's some to be done there in order to move to the closing the loop on purchase, essentially. And then the last bit, it's actually, we're here, AI has been tutored all day long. It is happening, and it's a matter of how we interact with it more than saying if we want to embark on this journey. So I'll go through one to one, but really those are the key messages, right? The first thing is why we say that people are adopting it and why we're saying it's something they're happy with. We observed the sentiment, right, through both AI approach and methodologies on the conversations. We had a lot of answers. I went personally through the verbatims. They looked like real verbatims there because we're interviewing real people. And the tone of voice, right, of these verbatims helped us understand that they were actually happy, right? There were some spikes on negativity on the topic, right? But they were confined to specific elements. So overall, people find this a useful thing, right? They're happy working and using these type of tools. Also, when we asked directly, right, and I said, okay, fine, you had an experience of shopping before, shopping online, and you have different tools, right? How does this new experience compare to the old ones? And consistently, they were saying, it is something that I want to do more of, not less of. Like skepticism wasn't there. And I think part of it, right, not to fool ourselves, because you don't need convinced people. People change behavior when they are nudged into it, by it's removing friction. Most of the people we interviewed were actually aware of the change that Google had introduced, right, when they prioritized the AI answers at the top of the research results. So that nudge, removing the frictions, helped the behavior change. You tried it, you're not trying for free, and that is working. So people kept on doing it because barriers have been removed, and there's a plus that people could see. Convenience, speed has been added. So that's why we say, okay, it's there and it's relevant. The second bit is there's a continuum in adoption, we said. Those are the personas Esther was referring to. I'll click the first one just to give you an idea of why people are happy about this. Let's see if it works.
I'm very open to using AI when I shop, especially to save time. I use it early on to compare options, narrow things down, and get quick summaries. But when it comes to actually buying, trust becomes everything. I rely heavily on verified reviews, especially ones with photos, and I expect AI to show me exactly where its information comes from. If something's sponsored, it needs to be clearly labeled. If I feel like I'm being nudged without knowing why, I'm out. I'm comfortable letting AI take me closer to checkout if it stays neutral, explains its recommendations, and gives me alternatives. Things like unit price comparisons, health or allergy flags, and store-specific availability really help. For me, AI works best as a transparent shopping co-pilot, helping me decide faster but never deciding for me.
So this is the persona. This is the way that we think personas in Tata is they are inspiration platforms, right? They are not actual consumers. But then they are a powerful way of summarizing the information that you have, because nobody goes anymore through a report, a written one. So that is an engaging way of sharing information. You will have seen one of the extremes, right, on the continuum we're talking about. I will not go through the other ones, but hopefully you read at the bottom why there's difference in adoptions, and generally matches the path to purchase, right? It's people in US are more open to try end-to-end the experience, whilst there are some degrees of skepticism if it comes more to Europe, which was interesting for us. I think I'll skip this one, and I'll move to the second bit, which is the why, right? And you think, in terms of what we've done here, right? We used, as I was mentioning it, the module in terms of UX module, right? How do people behave? Forget about what they say, but what they actually do, right? How do we make say-do gap? A bit drill down into that. And we have on the left and the right the two experiences. We watched them navigating the generative AI platform and a search engine platforms. And the differences are actually there, right? You see the convenience and the speed with the first one, and you see on the second one the fact that people click through more, right? They validate information more. We were wondering, our assumption that we had entering into this was the, about the IKEA effect, or even the fact that you want to put a bit of mastery in what you do, right? You want to, in order for that to be meaningful and actually to be done, you want to do a bit of it yourself. So do people check and validate so that as part of the purchase process, this is something that I spent attention on, especially if I do gifting. We didn't find that. We find convenience trumping the idea of putting some effort to show that you care about it.
And then also having some options. So ginger, love ginger in food, but not in drink form. So then having some other options like lemon balm, peppermint. That's good. Natural cycles, or anything where, the food, medically backed information is where I'd head to.
And she's clicking through. I will skip this, but she's clicking through the website. Fourth point, we talk about AI slope. We saw spikes in negativity, and those spikes in negativities were matching when we were asking people, okay, AI doesn't work for you when, right? And people were coming back and saying when it's not obvious, when that is advertisement, when it's actually intrusive to me, right? And there's a lot of it. So the noise that I don't want that to come, right? I want to filter it. So when does that happen? It's really when there's a break in trust, when people don't see openly. And it doesn't matter if it's US, UK, or trust is essentially transparency, is the building block for the basic gene factor for everything. When there's no transparency in advertisement there, in placement, right? The same way that we had the Google experience for, right? Where you have the advertised links at the top, they are clearly labeled. People want the same thing. And then there's a bit of a question in terms of when the AI companion moves into a sales agent, when try to push too much the good news about the product that's selected, but tell me what are the pros and the cons, right? Don't jump to conclusion too much, otherwise you are you're less credible. You could almost summarize that into this sort of pyramid, right? Transparency at the bottom, at least the fundamental, doesn't matter the country. Control is controversial. What we find is, yes, people want to be in control. Germany was the most evident one on this, but also people like convenience. So how do you trade off the fact that I want to personalize all things and actually want convenience on the side? And the last bit is customization. Last bit, I mean, that was the one that was most problematic in adoption. People were a bit more hesitant there because you need to trade off with privacy. So, give me the information, give it in a way that is summarized and meaningful. In terms of closing the loop to purchase, because my history, I don't know yet. I don't know yet. So this is the last slide, and I want to leave you with this one, right? It's in the 40s, and my country, I'm originally from Italy, right? People used to put blankets on the TV screens. TV was a new technology back then, because they were concerned about TV watching them back. Right? I don't know if you know of African parents that do the same. So I was told this thing, and it was weird for me, right? But in the 40s also, Asimov, which among other things has been a great science fiction writer, was writing the laws of robotics. And I think we can take some inspiration from those ones, right? The 3 laws of robotics, because they apply for technology, no matter what the technology is. This is technology. It's not, nothing else, and it's a tool how we use it. So, is it safe? Is it transparent for us? Right? Is it helpful? Does it serve a purpose, or we do it for the sake of doing it? And the last one is reliable, as in doesn't break, right? And those the 3 laws were put in this order for a reason, right? So if we follow this, maybe can be an inspiration for whether we develop here, being on the client side or on the agency side. And I think that's it for us. Thank you.
We've got time for one quick question, because I want to give everybody a break. So who wants to ask the one question?
Do people want to talk to robots?
So you might have seen this, but actually the key use case for generative AI has moved from just efficiency play and becoming more into coaching, companionship. I know it's scary, but actually more and more people are routinely confessing their darkest secret to ChatGPT. They might think better before they do that, but this is actually happening. And so this shows us that the way people are engaging with technology is fundamentally changing, and there are situations in which they might feel less judged, really, and lower their barrier because they're talking to AI. Yeah.
Hi, great study. To your point, by the way, we did a study on AI shopping similar to this, and people, when they talk about bed wants or healthcare, they prefer talking to an AI or a robot than to their friends. So one of the things, question for you, you talked a little bit about it, but our study showed that people trusted AI twice as much as recommendations from peers and friends and family. Did you find anything around that? Because for me, that was like flabbergasting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is my quant researcher kicking in, right? We didn't size that, right? It's a qual, so we did have deep understanding of the reactions, and we saw some what you're describing, right, in terms of people really trusting it along the continuum of the market. But could I size it? Not yet. Roughly, I think we saw it, but depends on the countries. So we saw a lot of question marks in European and like you would expect older generations having a bit more skepticism on, do I trust this?
I think related to what you were saying also before, depending on what the questions to be asked as well, because they might not dare to ask certain question really in a vulnerable way to friends and family. What would they think of that? So I think it's also, thinking about the different situations. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you.